This is today's live on Equa Television International. We're so glad that you could join us on today's edition of the show. Today is Thursday and we're talking about education. You know, in today's life and in today's world, skill-based training is really crucial for personal and even professional development. It has proven to stand people with it out in their workplaces, in their personal life, and in all spheres of life. And on today's live, we're looking at skill-based training. My name is Joyce Jakada. We're live on Facebook and YouTube at Equa Television International. Yours sincerely, SSS, is seated right beside me, Sambo Solomon Sabe. Good morning.
Praise the
Prudence, hi, how you doing?
Oh, good.
And His Royal Highness, Chief Engineer Tony J.
If you had
Dakali.
added and to that last S, the SS and S. Solomon, Sambo, and Savi. Sacred
Songs.
and Solo.
Good morning, all.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, I know this is one of the days that a lot of people want to. Who school help? Who education help? Let's talk about relationship. Let's talk about life and the rest of the week. I mean, let's leave it to.
Like somebody said,
Let's go and
why are
hustle.
you wasting time talking about other things on today's life? I said, what do you mean? That you should talk about relationship every day, that the show will get more. I said, no.
So some people just feel like all this conversation about education is just waste of time. Let's go and make money and that is all. So, and when they make the money, they are struggling with relationships, struggling with like how to even keep the struggling with life, struggling with. So you see why it's important to look at all aspects of life, because it's really key and it's important. So while the encouragement about going to school, getting educated is important, and we've seen how that a lot of people go to school, get educated, and yet it just ends at theoretical aspects. Like when people are faced with like opportunity to prove themselves in the area that they are educated in, you see that the skill aspect is actually lacking, which is supposed to make them employable or even self-reliant. Like it is actually the skill that bridges the gap between the industry and your education. But in most cases, you see that people come with qualification, yet they are yet to acquire any skill in that particular field that they have been offered certificate in. So I want us to look at why is skill-based, like, I don't know, why do you think skill-based learning or training is actually important in today's life? Because the world is evolving, things are changing, and it almost is looking like if you don't have skill, like nobody want to do anything with you. I remember somebody saying, okay, I need somebody that will occupy this position. If you know anybody that studied this and is good at, I mean, the emphasis was on different skills. And I was wondering and looking at this person, you think if this person have all of this skill, he or she will come and work for you? I mean, the person will be self-reliant, the person will be working on it, but like the emphasis was on skill. And I asked the question, wouldn't you want to train the person has qualification, the person is a graduate, would you not want to give the person time to learn, like by training that? No, they don't have that time, because that is why they say they are looking for somebody in this area. So why is skill-based training important in today's life?
Because you said it, that the world is evolving. Even technology is not stagnant. It's extremely progressional. It moves, it's not in one place. You have this brand of phone today, tomorrow they tell you that's obsolete. When you want to brag about something you just got, or brag about it being the latest, someone tells you, oh, 2 weeks ago I just got this one I'm using, and it's a higher version than what you have. So some people learn because their parents want them to do stuff. Some people learn because in the whole family there's no lawyer. Let me be the lawyer. Some people learn because we do not have a medical doctor in the lineage of the family, so let me be that medical doctor. And there are so many reasons why people learn. But smart people learn based on the demands that are available. See, I just completed a course. I was showing him this morning. I just completed a course. It will shock you to note that it's business administration. It has nothing to do with media. It has nothing to do with. But I need somebody that can administer well. I need some knowledge in administration. I need some knowledge in even accounting, because when I was doing that, they were teaching me ratio. They were teaching me different types of ratio. They were teaching me budgeting. They were teaching me all of these things. Now, even if as a GM I had knowledge in all of these things, they are not formal knowledge. They are just knowledge that accountant will come and say, "Sir, we are mandated to write a budget." I say, "Okay, the budget is just about what we are spending next year." Okay. But when I did that course, I said, wow. So budget is beyond. There are different types of budget. There is a traditional budget. There is just every kind of budget. I was like, wow. So you see, I am not learning to look for a job with it. No, I'm learning so that it can aid my skill in leadership. It can aid my skill in administration. Because I don't want to remain a cameraman. I want to be a cameraman and also be a boss who is in charge of the cameraman, in charge of the accountant, in charge of the auditor, in charge of the HR, in charge of all of these things. And when I was taking that course, there are so many courses under HR as well. That's how the HR can relate to the staff, how this, if you put this together, it affects this way of, So who sits down and says, "I'm a medical doctor, so be it"? When people went to study medicine, they knew that they were trying to heal people. But when COVID came, medicine stopped existing. Yes, because doctors could not do anything. Doctors died from COVID. So you see, but people that were skilled in the same medicine, that field, they came up with a vaccine. They came up with most of what cured people during COVID was not even the medicine. Yes, it was just preventive measures. And it has nothing to do with medicine. People just said, okay, if you maintain the social distance, if you had a face mask, if you did this, if you did that, I don't think that was medically, that was a medical engagement. No, I don't think that was it. I just thought people felt, okay, since the disease is communicable, I can pass it. The best way is to give social common sense. And you see, COVID was dealt with to a very, very colossal extent. So if people sit down and think, this field of accounting that I am in, I have gone to do ANAN. I've gone to do ICANN. I think I'm okay. Finally, I've reached the pinnacle of my career. No, you have not. There is a cake that is baked, and there is another cake that is baked. I saw a woman doing things with cake, Joyce. All you need to have is something beyond the foundation. Is something beyond the regular, and then you stand out. You see this cup kept on the table with the drink inside. You just bring a knife and slice it. It's a cake. You see a real looking phone on the table. She brings a knife and she slices it. It's a cake. You just see Joy standing. She bring a knife and just, it's a cake. It's called skills. In the US, they say skills to pay the bills. So, if you have a job, a regular 9-to-5 job, it pays you the average. You can't live the American dream with the regular 9-to-5. But if you have skills, see people that are into DJing, people that are DJs. Now we have DJs that are producing big artists. How are they doing it? We have DJs that are featuring people. It's skills. And when you sit down in one location thinking, I am the head of unit, I am the one heading this, before long, another person that is more skillful will come and slap that position down of you. So it is important that you get skills. It's important that you polish the skills. It is important because skills don't last long in a particular place. they become obsolete after a particular time. So what do you do when you have these skills? You need to keep polishing it. Like that shoe that you have, it needs to remain shiny for people to appreciate it. So skills, I think if you talk about skills, I should be able to confidently tell you that that is more important than the foundational education, the basic system of education that you get. Somebody sits down and says, you need to get your SATs, you need to get your certificates, you need to get this right, you need to get your grades right. And then the people is out, the people are out of school, and then they can't proffer solution to Jack. You have seen people that have been employed as cameramen. When we were doing Ekwa TV in the beginning, people came in here and they were like, I want to be employed as a cameraman. Okay, frame this shot. No. Truly they studied, they served. Meaning they are graduates. They even served. But now, to frame a simple shot became a problem. But the guy on the street who is skillful, covering weddings here, doing parties here, shows here and there, he is more skilled in videography than the person who went to school. The person who went to school was probably blocked. You know, they blocked his knowledge with theory.
I was going to say that kind of person or people like that, like they just memorize, they cram the notes, and like it's just about the theoretical aspect. Like every course you study, there's the skill aspect of that course. But in most cases, people don't think about that. People don't even focus on that.
Shouldn't that be the responsibility of the school, Joyce, to open
of course it is
the eyes of the students to these various branches
in most
education?
cases you don't even find the equipment like available. Like you talked about handling of camera, possibly that person studying mass communication, but how equipped is the studio at the department?
Is there a studio?
So you see, in most
it's just
cases,
a building.
so,
they tell you that's the mass communication building, and there's nothing mass communication about the building.
So you have to go for IT, and
you
then
see, a lot
what
of things
you
are
see
criminal of universities, and they charge students
for practicals.
for practicals. So what are you doing as a student?
So,
and the NUC will come and accredit.
yeah.
It's actually a crazy business. It's just very sketchy how a lot of things are being done in our day to day. But one thing that is important for us to note, just like Engineer Tony clearly stated, is that skill sets are paramount in work, in remaining relevant in your field of work, in your field of endeavor. You can't say that you're going in to do something and you're relevant, you're making impact in that place, and you don't have a skill set. It is impossible. You definitely have to have a certain skill set. A pastor has to have a skill set of making a sermon. He has to have the skill of actually delivering his sermon to be relevant in his. He has to have the counseling skill. He has to have. That's even a pastor. And you look at the lots that he has to go through. A teacher has to go through a lot too. He has to garner a lot of skill to be able to be an effective teacher in the place that he or she is serving. Same thing in every profession in this life. And if you move out of professions, in fact, everything that you put your hands to do, for you to remain relevant or to be your impact to be felt, you have to have that skill. You have to have a form of skill. Yes, truth be told, there are times where it is impossible, or rather it is quite difficult to get those skills because of no equipment available or no opportunities available for you to actually go all out and get those skills. But you have to start small. You have to start with what you have and build over time. As a media person, I know a group. I've worked with a number of people. One of which her skill set is elaborate. She writes. Apart from writing reports and all that for the station, they also call her in for special reports. And special reports is not everybody that would deliver on special reports for you, right? And so she's the one they will call on special reports. She's the same person they will call when they need interviews with high placed, high positioned people. She's the same person that they would call when they need someone to MC an event. She's the same person that they will call if they need someone to. So she just has a lot going on, and she's not sitting back down and just waiting for work to fall on her laps. No, she goes all out to get to them as well. That in itself is a skill.
You see people like that, the other people she's working with, they will envy her and say everything she's the one they are calling.
It's common.
But
Meanwhile,
because
you
she
wouldn't
built
even know the
herself.
time that
The price.
that's
Yeah.
the point. That's the point.
So you have no idea the amount of. In fact, I was in a situation one time. There were like 3 presenters in that over 3 of them actually, a number of presenters, and they called on specific 3 of them and said, we want you to deliver on this jingle. And so I asked the question. I was like, so why didn't they just call all the others? And they said, if you want delivery on this very jingle, call this. They have built that skill set. So you already know that because this person has built himself in this place, he would deliver on the job. And that is why he or she remains relevant. They are being called in from different places to do those kind of jingles because they are relevant in their in their place of work. So the whole thing about skill is all about relevance and impact. We've talked on this set a number of times. I think it is not something that is overemphasized. Impact is why we live our lives. Impact is what we are supposed to do. Impact is the reason for. Is the purpose that you are living. Is you're created to make impact, created to make things work. And so because you want to do that, you have to have that skill set. It is because God knew that Adam was going to be able to name those animals, that he gave him the right to name those animals. He had that skill. It's because David had the skill of shepherding that he was one of the great kings of Israel. It's because people of relevance had those skills to impact into the society that they are relevant in our society today. It is because the person who created the bulb had the skill set to create the bulb that he created it. It is
After failing 99 times.
Exactly.
And
So
not
he
giving up.
he kept on building it. And people just capitalized on that and built it and made it a larger thing, a larger scale and all that. So a lot of things, you talk about philosophers that we would say we are reading about in books and all that. Philosophers, people that made the internet come about and all that. It is because they had built skill sets. One thing about building skill or having the whole skill based thing is that it is not something that will come easy. There's turns and toils on the road to getting those skills. Sometimes they can be very tough. Some people will tell you very alarming and heartbreaking stories of how they got to where they are, of how they got to make the impacts that they are making. And you're like, you had the patience to even go through all that. But if you don't have the patience, you would not be able to build the kind of skills that they build. So you have to know that even as we keep talking about how important skills are, it should be at the back of your mind that it's not something that would just be a slide. No, it is something that has to have effort, time, and focus.
Okay, Sambo Solomon, it's no news that the talk about skills acquisition, development, like it's not news. In fact, even the federal government have realized how that they cannot employ everybody. We've had a time where the former president said they don't even have anywhere to employ people. And you can look at, just imagine the number of graduates that they turn out from higher institution like yearly. If you go to NYC camp and see graduates, that just a camp in a state, then imagine 36 states and then having this number of graduates, then you just think and say, where are they going to like after this service? So even the government have recognized the importance of skills, that now they have introduced courses, not just at undergraduate level, but even at postgraduate level, entrepreneurship like courses, to help people look beyond being employed, but creating like avenues or opportunities that they can also employ others. You know, before now we go to school and the whole teaching, the whole expectation, when you are done, you can apply for a job. Like that's the mentality, finish and apply for a job here. But now, like, the emphasis is on you creating and then employing others as well. So, but Prudence raised a concern earlier on about how that, okay, sometimes you want to acquire the skill. You actually, I paid school fees not just to go and get certificate, in as much as I know that there are students that don't care. They just want to get certificate. But I mean, I paid the school fees so that I can acquire a skill in whatever course I choose to study. If it is education, I want to acquire teaching skills. If it is in communication, like in mass communication, I should be able to have communication skills. I should be able to have like camera skills, whatever.
Up-to-date skills.
Yes, up-to-date skills. So, and where you find out that the equipment to make you like have that skill is not available, what do? I had to say this because even the number of graduates that we keep talking about, unemployment, 60% unemployment rate and all of that, how many of them, that's what employers will tell you, how many of them are employable? Because when you open opportunities for people to apply and come, you'll be amazed what some people would write. Like, the knowledge, the skill is just not there. So what do you do as a person? I went to the university not just to get paper, but just so that I can also acquire skill in that profession or in that field or in that course that I apply to study. But when the equipment to make me get that skill is unavailable, what do? Imagine somebody going to study mechanical engineering or electrical engineering, and yet you can't fix, like, your switch will have problem at home and then you can't fix it. You have to call the roadside like electrician to come and fix it, or the mechanical engineer or the professor in mechanical engineering taking his car now to the roadside mechanic to look for the problem and then fix it. So what do you do as an individual when the environment is not enabling or when the equipment is not available? What do I do as a student?
Okay, we have two types of people in this kind of situation. We have those that they go beyond the normal in life. That is, if you're talking class, they go extra. That's why some of them are sleeping, some are reading, and some will even ask, this kind of study that you're doing, you want to kill yourself? You hear people asking. So you see the two types of people. One is asking, you want to kill yourself, because he's just regular, he's just normal. You see, the ones that are determined and they know why they are going into that particular course or that particular skill that they want to acquire, is because they identify their strength and they know what they want and they are going for it. So for them, there is no any barrier to getting to where they want to. That's the reason why you will see somebody here in Jos, because something is not available for him here. He's handicapped here, but he will travel from here to Gombe or Bauchi or Kano.
I call another state.
You understand?
Go ahead.
I don't understand this your example.
Just go ahead. Just go ahead.
You
It's
understand?
not available in Jos and you go to Gombe. Come again.
Just go ahead. Just go ahead. Just go ahead.
And look for that thing so that he will make that difference. You understand? But to someone that maybe he's just like he rightly said earlier. Maybe he just want to be the first lawyer in the family. He doesn't care about winning any case. He just want to bear the name, because we have lawyers that up to today they have no record of winning any case. But you hear them barrister, and they are okay.
Esquire.
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 Don't put that Esquire. You hear from them.
The learned colleagues. You understand? So you see, some are just very okay with the average, and then no matter how you push them, they are just okay, because they don't even see the reason why you should push them. Because even if you are pushing them because you saw potential in them, they see it as you being tormenting them.
And I see no wonder some people opt for internship, because they go to the school and they see that the equipment are not available. They go to an organization where they know that they practice what they are reading, and they apply for internship just so that they can get that knowledge. Like, I mean, you just explained that rightly. While others are sleeping, if you are passionate about something and you really know what you are going for, like whatever it takes, like there are others that sleep on YouTube trying to learn, trying to acquire like skill in basic area. But Engineer Tony mentioned up-to-date skill. What role can organization play, or employers now, or employees? Like you hear somebody telling you that, do you know, like, I have so qualification, I attended so prestigious institution, and all of that. I graduated in the year 1990s
with nothing to show for.
I mean, so what role can they play? Especially in people get angry that, oh, I've been here, and then somebody just came and is walking ahead, like he's been placed ahead of me. And so what can they do to ensure
I have
that?
always said, Joyce, the meaning of work is to make things work. There's no better way to describe work than making things work. You are a presenter, he is a presenter, you are a presenter. You have strength in different presentation areas. He does, you do. If I want you to leave your comfort zone and learn that you are good at what you do, but it's not servicing the general public, but you are excellent at it. But let's say it's old-fashioned way of broadcasting or presenting. Solo has the new skill, but he's struggling with how to dish it out. But he's excellent. And then I put two of you together, you will fight. You will never see the rationale behind putting both of you. And I don't have to explain, because if I explain the reason why I'm doing it, you do it because of my explanation. You not do it because you want to gain knowledge. There are times where I have to swap roles. I tell you, you are now head of this, you are now. People be like, why will God bring me here? I don't even have the knowledge in this. I remember someone that she went to heaven and came back. Angel Gabriel called me and said, this was what she said. I said, oh, Angel, thank God that you are lower than the... God made you lower than me, so don't worry. You know, it's not for an organization to invest time or knowledge or skills into people. It's the willingness of the people to put it back in the organization. That is what every executive is looking at. If the people that you want to invest in, there's nobody in this organization that will say, I've not invested in his life. To an extent, I got tired of studying for people's sake. People just get the knowledge. They are using it, but it's not moving my organization forward. Do you know why? Because they are not using it in the organization. So, there is no CEO anywhere, because giving these skills are expensive. Because if I spend money to get a skill, I should get money giving it out. That's true. If I decide to do it for free, it's fine. But I should spend money to give it out. So it's important for every organization to think of how she can grow the people who work for her. It's very important. It's inevitable. So, if the people you are training feel they are already ahead, like believe me, I've attended events that you talk about, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, we are going to be discussing this. And when you get there, you find out that what the people are saying, you have heard it like 12 to 15 years ago. And you start knowing the reason why such organizations are still where they are. They are still carrying the theories and the principles of the old time to solve new to make it to solve new problems, to make it a solution for new problems. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. Yesterday I was somewhere with you where they are doing car alignment and all of that. They don't use these things that have mirror that you sit down and put something. They just plug something to the 4 tires. It's computerized. And then it aligns the car in minutes. In minutes. It's a skill. Look at the people that are working. Did you see any graduate there? Street boys. They have been trained and they know it.
Like 15?
Yes. Yes. 15. And when we were done, the guy opened the hood of my car and was saying, "Come, let me show you something." And I said, "Close it." He said, "No." I said, "Close it. Your work is tire. You don't have business in opening." He said, "Come." He said, "This reservoir is not supposed to be water. It's supposed to be engine coolant." So I said, "Close it." Me, I choose to put water. He wants me to buy it from them. Yes. I said, "Close it." So he started laughing. And then he banged the hood and then we left. Skills. And you know what? All of these boys, I don't think they have even gone to secondary school. 15, 13, 20. I think the oldest should be 20. But the people that came with their cars, there were government vehicles. You saw that red one there. There was government vehicle. There were big vehicles there. And there were vehicles queuing behind us to get that service. Now, if they are using all of this equipment to turn and twist and do all of that, who would want, how many cars will they fix a day? So you see, people are thinking way ahead. People are thinking way ahead. Now in our business, what is in this business is how to generate the content fast, how to process it fast, and how to get it out fast. And you know the reason. If you have 5 ideas, I have 5 ideas. 2 will be the same with the one he has. 1 will be the same with what she has. The other 2 will be the same. So you cannot think you are the only one with an idea. I was still with you yesterday when somebody was telling me about an idea they had. That they were looking for 200 million or so to process the license. A lady flew in from US straight to her own governor and told him, "I have this idea." And the governor acted immediately. And then they processed it. And Goodluck was president then. And then the country used that idea and she went back to the US. Meanwhile, Nigerians, those of them that were here, they were still thinking, how do we see this minister? How do we see this PAMSEC? Let's go to Kaduna and see this person. This person will help us with this thing. Before we see the PAMSEC, he will help us to get the license. Somebody came from America. Pap! Saw the governor. Pap! The governor acted immediately. Pap! And then federal government used it. And then the person went back to the US. It's not just for you to brag that you have skills. It's for you to provide solution. That is what everybody's looking for.
So what's the importance, or what's the impact now on you as an individual with skill? Because some people just think, as we're talking about skill-based training, just forget about it. It's just for me to finish and get a 9 to 5.
If people have not heard the importance from what I've said, then they were not listening well.
On you as a person now.
Example I gave of this person doing this business. If you have all of this equipment, right, in your company, you will do 50 cars a day. The person that does not have that kind of skill, that is manually solving problems, he will solve the problems manually.
It takes longer
But
time.
there is a limit to the distance he can cover.
True.
There is a limit to the money you can make. There is a limit to the bills you can pay.
That's true.
But if you can do 50 cars within 1 hour, look at all these, now I see robots painting cars. I saw a documentary, Joyce, of how you can drive your car to the workshop, and then it is robot that will take out the seats, take out all electrical cables, everything, and will just dip the car in the paint and bring it out. And in less than 10 minutes, it's dried up, and then the robot will put back your cables, even the ones that were not fixed. The robot will fix it and bring it out and put back your chairs. And then before evening, you have your car painted. There is no part of the car, because they will dip the car in the paint and bring it out. I saw it and I was like, if this comes to Nigeria, especially Christmas time, why do people paint cars during Christmas?
It's
Want
not
to go
only
for
cars,
Christmas.
everything that is.
Everything is new.
People change curtains at Christmas, change house, everything at Christmas.
Sanitation.
As in, some build houses.
Jesus
So
is
you see,
coming,
if
They
people
prepare your
know,
home.
for instance, look at the people who made the shirt that you are wearing. You may not even know. You just went to the store and picked it.
Mhm.
But you know what? Somebody is thinking, as a tailor now, how can I make 100 of those in a day? Meanwhile, taking measurement is a problem. Cutting the material is a problem. Sewing it together is a problem. Giving you that paid the money for it is a problem.
True.
And nobody is thinking as a seamstress or as a tailor, whatever they call themselves, to think of how I can make this thing in a day. If you can have that solution, you can make 10 in a day. In 10 days, you can make 100. If this thing is truly in demand, do you know how much you will make? And all the people they are talking about that are graduating every day is because their parents are telling them NNPC.
This NNPC.
Think of it. Now there's nothing there, sir. Somebody was
with the
discussing
new law.
yesterday. Yes, with the new law, there's nothing there. Who wants to go there? If you go to Abuja, for instance, I know a lady, she's from Plateau. Went to Abuja. She was earning about 300,000 monthly. She called me one time. She said, Uncle T, I'm stopping work. I said, what? She said, Gaskia, Uncle T, this work is stressful. There's something I found. I want to start doing. I said, look, are you sure it will pay you? She said, Uncle T, you know me. You'll be proud of me soon. She makes between 2 to 3 million every month now. There was one time, recently I went to Abuja. She took me in her car round. She doesn't miss today's live. I hope she's watching. What does she do? She established contacts. People are very busy in Abuja, so she cooks food and takes to your house. So she's always in her house.
Cooking.
That's all she does. She said, Uncle T, they are paying me 300, sometimes 350 if I have bonuses and all of that. But look at this now. She goes to the market. She was doing Wuse Market. Now they bring things for her from Jos. She bought a car. She has a Sharon. No seats behind. They put like baskets of tomatoes, oil, all of these things. They take it to her house. She lives in Gwarimpa. She pays rent sometimes 3 years ahead. And the whole compound now she has this big bonus that you can have. And then she has gas cylinders and all that. If you go to her house, that's where she does. She doesn't go anywhere. They'll just bring these things for her. She has order. She's cooking it. Can I have okra soup by evening? What is the quantity? No, you can get 4 liters if it's this evening. And then she'll drop her phone and keep talking to you. Can I place an order? She say, Kuyankamun kubewa. She keeps talking to you. She makes 3 to 4 million monthly in the same Abuja.
That was the
There
angle
was
I
one
looking
time
at
I
too.
told somebody, I said, this Abuja, people leave, especially these Marabags and all of that. People leave as early as 5 a.m. because of the traffic to get to town. And when they are coming back, there is traffic. And coming back, you don't have a choice of the time you come back because you have to wait for work to close. So you have to come back during the hold-up time, the traffic time. So I say, when do these people have time to wash their clothes and iron it? Why wouldn't you think of something like that? He has stopped bank work now. He's a thief man from Benue State. He doesn't do any work now. He brought people from his village. The house where he lives is his own. Laundry services. In the morning, people are bringing clothes. They are collecting them. By weekend, come and see his delivery. He's making it. But you know our problem. I want to wear suit and go to work.
Go out in the morning. Living your angua feeling like
Like somebody asks his boss. Well, he's a skid. He asks his boss, say, Madam, sorry, I want to ask you something. He's a security man. He said, when people are coming back, that's when you are going out. And when people are going out, that's when you are coming back. Madam, are you doing a shower walk? He received the beating of his life. And he sounded right, like that's what she was doing. But you see, anything you are able to see that there is demand, school tells you how to meet the demands. The general education that we all get, that memorization of information that you get, it tells you how to meet these needs. But you know what? It's not enough to pay your bills. What school taught you is not enough to pay your bills. But what skills teach you is enough to fly you out for vacation.
I mean, that you cannot even argue.
It's enough to fly you out for vacation.
When you talk about wealth making and generating income, I think today most of the people, riches, persons we talk about are people that acquired certain skills, be it business, whatever skill, it is born out of skills, not any system of memorization, and they are doing very well about that. I mean, the likes of the Dangote that we keep talking about, they are identifying gaps and then they are filling in the gaps, and you make money out of it. You make real time money. So it's just the importance, and then it's just enormous. We've seen it around us. So if you want to make money and you are being lazy about acquiring skill, then you will keep begging. You will keep being the shortest finger, being the one that will always ask for. But if you are able to identify gaps, if you are able to identify areas of skills in your field, then you will see yourself building confidence, having self-esteem. You will see yourself bridging that gap between education and industry. You will see yourself being productive. You will see yourself being result-oriented. You'll be that person that people sought after because they know that when it has to do with you, there will definitely be result. But the danger of not having any skill, I know a lot of people want to even testify about that. Sooner or later, nobody wants to do anything with you. Because, I mean, when your name is mentioned, what can he do? Nothing. No, there are people that will say, let's just put them here so that it will not look as if nobody is doing things for you. But imagine somebody that cooks food. Imagine somebody that's driving government cars, or somebody in government going for somebody on the street to help fix car or to do certain things. Why? Because they know that definitely there's going to be result coming out from that place. Our time is actually fast spent, but I know you have more to talk about skills-based training.
Well, for me, briefly, I would say whatever you have or whatever you choose to do or whatever you are doing, just polish it. Because we know there are drivers that they would say is a common driver, but we know drivers that are exceptional.
True.
Because you can find a governor now that would be specific about who drives him. A president being specific about who drives him. So whatever you are doing, just polish it and just try your possible best to make impact. I think that's just the reason. But you just settling for an average is just like you not appreciating what God has given you. Because if you settle, you are just telling God. It's just like that parable that God gave shared talent, and then the other one was telling God, share your God Almighty, that you can reap from where you didn't sow. So if you have something and you are not polishing, simply put, that's how you are seeing God. He just gave you something and you don't think it's something that you can polish, so he can do whatever he wants to do with it. So just try your possible best. Whatever you are doing, polish it, and you never can tell. They can just pick you to US to just go and be polishing shoes because you know how to do it well. It's possible.
I know that sometimes we look at certain skills and we think that they're minute, they're very small, and our attention should not be put there. For instance, I'm just going to roughly mention this. You go to a church band and you see a group of people that are singing.
Church girl.
Yes, I'm a church girl. I agree. So you go to a church band and you see a group of people that are singing, and this one works on himself day and night. There's just building. He keeps building himself, and the other one is relaxed. Over time, even if they do give the second person a session, it's because let him not think that we don't appreciate. Yeah, exactly. And so you become relegated. And if you don't want to be relegated in anything that you put your hands to do, make every effort to make a better version of what of yourself, of what you're doing. Make every effort to be a better version. Be it for your occupation, even in your house. One thing about skill set is that it's something that can. There are some skill sets that can go way beyond just what you are doing, like what gets you money, but also affect even your relationship with people. It is skill sets that you are able to converse rightly with someone. It's a good skill.
Underrated skill.
Yeah.
Communication.
It is that skill that some people are earning billions of dollars, of pounds. Excuse me, an ambassador does nothing as much as communicate with people. So basically that's what he does, and he earns with that. So these are underrated skills that even when you think that they're not relevant, they apply. For the mechanic, even the boy who had to tell you, come and see, let me show you something, it was communication for him to even tell you something as nicely said as this, and you could laugh it off and
you could
move
see
on
the way
and
he
things
called
like
him. You could see.
You would see-
I was waiting to see.
it's
Come
all,
and see something.
it's all communication. You have to see those things are very important
It
skill
is,
sets that
it
we
is.
relegate and we make them seemingly inviolable. It seems to be like we don't take them into consideration, but these are things that day-to-day skills that we need to continue polishing to make ourselves better people, better in our relationships with people, and even in our occupation.
Prudence, leadership is also one of it.
Exactly,
Is a
exactly.
skill that is also underrated. People think they can just take positions and that just ends there. Like you start getting all the dobales, people should be like, but there is actually more to it. Have you seen, I mean, I've seen leaders that have made things happen, and I've seen people that were made leaders and things crumbled. Why? Because the skills
We're
like
missing.
were actually
Totally
missing. So
Yes.
as important, communication is so important regardless of the field that you find yourself. There are businesses that have crumbled because the people don't know how to communicate. There are businesses that also crumble because they lack leaders. There are organizations that are nowhere. Like, I mean, they used to be up there, but today people can barely remember that they once exist. Why? Because they made mistakes of putting people without leadership skill. So it is very important that we just develop these skills regardless of where we find ourselves. Like, we're not ruling out 8 to 4 or 8 to 5 jobs. We take them. We are doing it. We are in it. But make sure that you are skilled. Make sure that, like the ECWA anthem, let it not die in your own time. I mean, as much as it lies with you, just ensure that you put in your best. Ensure that that thing that you're doing, you're not just doing it the same way every day. But every day as the world evolves, you look out for new technologies in that area, what is evolving, what is new, learn it and also update yourself with it, so that you won't just be the usual, you will not just do the normal, you will not just be everybody, but you will also be unique in your own area, in your own field. And like I said earlier on, like skill-based training is actually crucial for personal and even professional development. And with this, we're going to definitely draw the curtain because we'll be here tomorrow to talk about social media. Thank you, Engineer Tony Jane Akali. Thank you, Prudence Brugger. Thank you, Sambu
Pleasure.
Solomon.
It's a pleasure.
We'll come your way tomorrow, same time. Thank you, ECWA Executive, for this platform. Thank you, ECWA Television supporters. We're so grateful to all our viewers for sticking to ECWA Television International. We'll be back tomorrow, same time. You have a great day. Bye-bye.